One.
Hi, everybody. Hey, welcome to the May EAC meeting. All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I will make a motion to start the meeting.
Second that motion.
And I'm in favor.
In favor? Aye. All right, meeting is started. Okay, so did everyone get a chance to review the April agenda or April minutes? I didn't get any comments from anybody, so I'm assuming were there any other comments?
No, mine were in there already.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the April 7th, 2022 minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Somebody second?
I'll second the motion.
All
Okay.
right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. About tomorrow sometime. Okay, Monica has someplace to be. There she is. So Monica is going to present first.
Hi, guys. Thank you. I'm just here briefly to kind of catch up because I know we've had a little hiatus. I'll start with the recycle plan. We had been working on the recycle plan together. I'd like to regroup on that a little bit. I know Jonah had sent us a contact for one of the kind of questions we had is how many R's to use and what kind of education piece we should include as part of the plan. Looking to regroup with you and meet up with Pennsbury School District to discuss how we can kind of partner on an education piece that will be consistent with what the children are learning in school and continue on into the park system to make it a more cohesive plan. So we're looking at some of those things. We evaluated the potential of doing composting as part of the plan, and we came to the conclusion that maybe not start all in kind of composting, maybe test it out at one site like the pool, see how it goes. That's a more controlled area. So that's for the people who weren't in the meeting. I'd like to regroup sometime soon so we can wrap it up and possibly bring it back to the EAC and the park board next month for a final before we go to the board of supervisors. And the next thing I have on here is I stumbled upon this Rainwater Solutions. I actually stumbled upon it because we were having a dog waste issue in the parks. And I was kind of trying to look for some information to put out and educate the community about why it is so important to pick up your dog waste. And I'd be glad if you have any content that we can include on some kind of education for the community on that piece in particular. But I stumbled upon this wastewater solutions company that does partnerships with municipalities that you can get rainwater barrels and distribute them. They do help with of
Cutting in and out, Monica.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in my car. I'm trying my best.
You're not driving.
Bring this to as an idea. Not driving, stationary. As an idea that we could maybe possibly participate in as our community. Now we'd have to decide a few things. We'd have to decide funding for the barrels, how we would do that, which is something maybe we could do through sponsorship or through a grant, or we could charge residents per rain barrel. It just depends. I will find out more about pricing. I do have a meeting with this company because I found it so interesting and such a cool project. And, we are an MS4 community. I think it'd be great for the MS4. It's funny that Andy gave the MS4 presentation last night. The timing is funny, but I think this would be a great thing for the community. I know you've discussed rain barrels in the past, and it'd be a great way to educate people about how to use them. So I just kind of want to bring it up to you, introduce you to the company. I'll find out a little bit more about pricing, but is this something that might interest the EAC in participating in? Should I continue on or,
Monica, I have some input. About 15 years ago, in conjunction with the Master Gardener program, the EAC held a huge lecture in the administration building, and we came about 60 or 70 barrels away. And it was incredibly well received. We had a lot more people there than barrels available. And the barrels were procured through a grant. And these were high quality barrels. And let me tell you, the response was overwhelming. I mean, we could have given away 3 times as many, probably.
So what I'm seeing in some communities is that they pilot first, see success, and then they have a sign up. So they kind of are aware how many barrels they're going to need, and they can really address the need. But different communities are doing it differently. If you go to the company's website that Linda sent you a flyer today, they have lots of videos of how different communities have done it and success stories, all that stuff. So, I mean, if this is something you're interested in pursuing or looking into, it looks like it was successful in the past. I'd be glad to continue on looking into it and bring back more information next meeting.
Sorry, Monica, just for clarification, is the intent of the rainwater barrels, is it to collect rain for individual residents, or is it to be used at parks and rec locations?
I think the park and recreation would help with the volunteer piece, like getting the barrels out, but it would be for residents at their homes.
So
So-
It'd be a
what is
plan
the-
to distribute to residents. Is that what that's very neat.
Educate, yes. Mhm.
We have
So
8.
what is the intention of the thing? Are we subsidizing the barrels for the residents? There are lots of places that give barrels for such promotion. So what is interest, like what exactly does the Parks and Rec want to do? Give them the information that this company can help them, or distribute rain barrels? What exactly is the piece that we are looking at?
So they would provide them to us at bulk at a reduced rate. We would have to decide, are we going to fund them or are we going to charge residents? That's something that's not done yet. This is just an initial conversation. I have to find out what the cost is per barrel. If it's something that could be even bigger, that we could partner with other municipalities, we could make it even bigger if we wanted to. There's just so much opportunity here. I know Suzanne says, how many, she has 6 or 8 at her house and they love them. It's definitely something that, we have to educate. I don't think everybody knows about rain barrel. So, there'd be an education piece too, but I definitely think that it's something that could be well received in the township.
So I had looked into the education and awareness thing, I think 2-3 years back. PHS has links with a partner organization that works in the region. And they were quite interested in coming to I had talked to them specifically about our township, and they were quite happy to come and give a presentation on the education part of it. It's what operates in Philly, and at that time, this is like maybe 3 years back, I had brought it up to the EAC. So they were quite happy to come to Bucks and to do the same thing. But rain barrels is one piece of the solution. The other things which are actually more long-term, viable, easier to maintain are things like downspout planters and rain gardens.
There's many different things we can do. This is just one thing. You can do 100 things. You're the EAC, you can pick what you want to do. But I found this, I wanted to bring it to you and see if we could partner possibly together.
Yeah, so what I had done earlier was talk to these people, and they were quite happy to come to our township. And this is basically, I'm forgetting the name. It's a sister concern of the PHS. This organization looks at specifically the awareness and the education thing. And there is a third thing, I'm forgetting, it must be there in my notes. And I had brought it to the EAC about 2-3 years back, maybe 3 or 4 years back. So they are the people in this area who have been, in this area, meaning Philadelphia specifically, who have been successful in doing this from block to block. They've conducted facilitated thousands of community workshops and helped owners install one of these or some of these solutions in their homes. So actually removed paving, removed driveway, things like that, and converted into absorbable surfaces.
So it sounds like you have someone who could help start the education piece even before we could do rain barrel distribution if we decide to do
I
that.
had the connection. I can look up my notes to see who it was. It was definitely before the pandemic, so maybe 3-4 years back. And it might be there in the EAC minutes also. Like I had, they were quite happy to come and give a talk and collaborate with. And they had actually collaborated with another township. I think it was Southampton, if I'm not mistaken, to do exactly this. And they were quite happy to come to Lower Makefield also, but it never got taken up. I think it was not a priority at that time.
Okay, well, Linda, I don't know how you don't want to handle it. Maybe I can do the initial meeting and find out more information. And it sounds like there's some interest on the EAC, if I'm gathering correctly. So
if you have a meeting scheduled, I would go ahead with the meeting, just find out what you have. And then Sumya, if you can find your notes from who you spoke to, and it'd probably be better to start the education piece first, but it doesn't hurt to get as much information as we can get from different sources.
Okay, so I'll keep on research. I'll bring back what I can get, and we'll go from there.
I've also attended a rain barrel education workshop right here in our community. Somebody had hosted it. I'm forgetting the organization and the person, but it was right in LMT. That was again some 4-5 years back. So meaning to say that the concept is sort of embedded, and it can be, the different interests can be hopefully consolidated and something come out of it.
So that would be great, Sumya, if you could check your notes and find whatever, and then we could brainstorm and keep moving it forward.
Yeah, I think this is a project really worth pursuing. And certainly in the beginning, education is the most important component. And then when we find out, what it's all about, possible costs and things like that, then we can move forward. But this is a very, very good environmental tool, these rain barrels.
Perfect. Well, it sounds like I have my marching orders. So I will go ahead and do a little bit more research. Samya, if you could do a little research so we can get back together and come up with a little bit of a plan we can bring back to the EAC.
Yes.
Perfect. So, and then the next thing, I know this is on the agenda. I don't have a whole lot of time left because I do have to drive my son he has a choral concert tonight. So I'm going to be taking him to that. But the Play for All plan is on there. I guess there was some interest and discussion. If anybody, I did present it to the Board of Supervisors last night, but I am glad to hear any feedback or, if you want to give me feedback at a later date or call me or contact me, talk to anybody.
You could write a letter with comments on it, if that would help. A formal letter, what do you?
I don't know if it has to be quite even if we just put together some notes and send her an email for something like this in the beginning stages, I don't know how formal it needs to get.
Well, it's in the beginning stages. We're at the end stages. So this has been, we've been working on this for a year.
Yeah.
We're at the end.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts on it that I wouldn't mind putting down on paper.
You're not an advocacy group per se in this situation, right? You're advisors to the board.
So we advise the board on how to proceed with the document. I can do that.
Yeah. You can certainly have an opinion on whatever. If you have feedback, we want to hear. But at this point, this is we're in the tail end of this project here.
So yeah, the document's done.
The document is done, and
the document's done, but still, there were still other discussions based on last night's meeting that are still going to be going on. Like,
right, no decisions
on
have been made to do A, B, C, or D yet. But the proposal, meaning all the work that Monica and her team have done, that's done. So if you wrote we think you should do X on page 7, page 7 is cemented.
Right.
That part I get. Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is, and I know people are fixated on one project or another. Now, this is an overall plan for all of the parks moving forward. There are some suggestions for moving forward with things like or other things, but it's saying to reevaluate the plan. That's not saying what Snipes is going to look like in the future. There's gonna be a whole nother process for that. This is not the Snipes plan. This is a plan to move forward with Parks and Recreation into the future. It's a strategy moving forward. So please understand that this is not the Snipes plan. It's a strategy to move forward, to come up with something that is comprehensive, an opportunity for people to play for all, and an opportunity for those to get all of their needs met. You know, sports organizations, people who are more environmentally conscious, for people who would like a playground or whatever. You know, there'll be a whole review process for that. And I know you mentioned specifically Snipes in your email, Alan.
Said the agenda.
What? Oh, in the
You sent the agenda. Yeah.
No,
No, when you had sent the email with the agenda.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Because that will be an interest to the EAC. What goes on?
I know,
there.
because there's so many non-native trees that were planted
No,
there.
I went
All
there.
those Christmas trees gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
No,
Yes.
we'll go there. We're gonna
Yes,
go
they're not
there.
on the list.
And we're going to identify the trees. I have an app on my iPad that identifies the trees, and I did that. I went over there, and most of
You're
them
not
are
allowed to
native.
go over there. That is closed off property. People are not supposed to be walking around on that. That's why there's a fence.
It doesn't say no trespassing, though.
The fence says no trespassing. Locks on the fence say no trespassing. You don't need a sign that says no trespassing.
You should
have
put a
lock
sign
fence.
there, because a lot of people go back there.
A lot of people go on Patterson Farm. I get angry emails from the farmer telling me, why are people walking on my land? I don't know. We have signs there. Doesn't seem to stop them.
Well,
They take nice pictures.
But then we have 5 Mile Woods, which nobody seems to go to.
I don't know about that.
No.
Just, Monica, in terms of your time right now, how much time do you have for any feedback? Because I know that feedback received orally may be different from feedback via letter.
I have about 5 minutes and then I have to leave.
Okay. Thank you.
Is it going to take more than 5 minutes? Is that what you're saying, Jonah?
These things.
If you have feedback, start talking.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, I thought that the plan was really beautifully put together. I was very impressed by the presentation last night. I know that others will be able to speak to greater specifics. I did share a concern with one resident who wanted to see maximization of natural grass and natural plants over turf, but and also just to be mindful of opportunities for growing more trees. But I didn't have very specific comments beyond just those general notes.
Okay.
Monica, can I go back to recycling in the parks? What's our steps forward? You want to meet in the next few weeks?
Yeah, we should. I think Jonah and I were going to meet with the Pennsbury School District to discuss. So we have to schedule that to discuss how we can make a cohesive message and whatever messaging we're offering for this plan with the Pennsbury School District. So whatever the kids are learning, we want to continue that into the parks. We think that.
What about the document that you were drafting up on recycling in the park?
Last draft is the one we discussed. I have not changed it since then. I have all your notes compiled.
Okay.
And then forward.
I think we lost you there, Monica.
Yeah, we lost you there. What'd you say?
Look how happy she is.
You can't hear.
We can't hear you.
Just send them an email when you want to meet them. It might be easier.
Monica, I'll send you an email within the next 24 hours.
Enjoy your concert, your son's concert. Tell him good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Yeah.
All right, so Alan, you'll work on drafting a response then?
A few observations about it. Yeah, it sounds like that's what we can't ask for changes. We can just make observations and suggestions and how they proceed forward, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right, anything else regarding any of the park and rec stuff before we move on to plastic bags? No? Okay. All right, Jonah, you're up.
Sure.
It comes to Suzanne.
Yeah, so actually, Supervisor Blendy, you might be able to speak to a little bit of what the latest is, and then I'm happy to reply.
Yeah. So, it's always a little bit tricky how to relay this. So I'll just say that the board is in agreement that they are going to draft / plagiarize Jonah's words and change them around a little bit. But our first course of action is going to be to the state, to the governor, to Perry and Steve, because we believe strongly that's how it should go. I know that that may be a little bit like tilting at a windmill, and I think there's interest in the board in once we have that response, then revisiting it. But there was not really at liberty to say who said what or whatever, but they understand the importance of this issue, and they're just trying to figure out how to move forward in a way that actually moves forward, but doesn't put the residents of Lower Makefield Township at, or the businesses at a, disadvantage. I would point out, in case anyone didn't see it, McCaffrey's has signs at all their registers urging people to bring reusable bags. It just says, be like New Jersey, basically. Right? In Jersey, we've gotten rid of all the bags in our stores. We'd like to do that here too. So I think that's a step forward.
Great, thank you. So I just want to make sure that I heard correctly what you said, because I have a few distractions in my background today.
I see
they're wonderful, just, so am I correct that you said that you're changing the addressee to being not the Bucks County Commissioners, but the governor and State Representative Warren and State Senator Santarciero?
Correct. And then so some other language will change as well.
Sure.
As a result of that. But. Okay.
I'm very pleased to hear that step forward. And thank you very much for advocating on our behalf, presumably. I'm not going to ask what your position was, but it sounds like you were all in agreement, so that's good. I would say,
reread the letter, so I think we could say yes.
Sure. Okay. I would say that I would love to advise the Board of Supervisors to consider sending the letter additionally to the Bucks County Commissioners, because we do have the sense that as politicized as environmental stewardship can become, just in terms of party lines, there is a sense that there is very likely a stalemate on moving forward with plastic bag reduction policy at any state level right now, until there would be a significant change in the makeup of the state house or the state senate.
Okay, I'll pass that along. Thank you, Jonah.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a comment as well. If this goes nowhere with the state, I think we should revisit it on a local basis. Now, ideal is to have the whole state do it, but sometimes you got to go with the best you can get. So, as I said, let's see what happens on the state level, and then we can react accordingly.
Just in as much as Linda addressed me for this, I will say that I think that I have no further update on this. I am happy for folks to reply as they see helpful, but I'm happy to move on to the next line item if that is most productive.
Somebody to agree to this? No, I mean, I know that the supervisors are, I'm saying like, hopefully it can move forward on the state level, but who knows?
Yeah.
It would be nice if the entire state of Pennsylvania went
Who would have
Plastic
thought
bag.
Jersey would be the leader? But you got it done.
They got it done. They did.
Yep,
Philadelphia, I mean,
can be done. Yeah, I think Southeast Pennsylvania would have to break off from the rest of the state, and then we can get it done. That's the problem.
All right. Well, then I guess we're going to move on then at this point.
did you all watch the meeting then? Are you all aware that Greg Hucklebridge has given notice? Our wonderful director of Parks and Rec, of Public Works.
He gave notice? Oh, I didn't catch that.
I didn't watch the end. What happened? What?
It wasn't at the end. I don't know what you guys
When was
watched.
it? I
Not
stayed for the play for all, and then I had things to do.
And the MS.
Oh, was after that. The manager's report.
Wow. Wow.
Win.
Giant loss of talent leaving.
No public works, no township manager. I'm available if be interesting. Wow. So you got another search going on. How long is he going to stay?
Mid-June.
Mid-June. So about the same time as Kurt.
Kurt's really mid-July, but yes. Hopefully we can make an arrangement where both of them can help us, finish some of the projects that are in process, but yep.
Is there anybody in Public Works that can kind of step in temporarily?
I can't say that I know all of Public Works, but in the past, the candidates have come from the outside. I mean, not only is Greg super wonderful and an engineer and, to have your Public Works director be a resident of the township, he's basically on call 24/7, right? He's driving around, he's seeing stuff, so it's really a tremendous loss.
Huh. I did not know that. All right, you still got Jim Majewski and Monica.
Check your calendars. May 5th. We still have Jim Majewski and Monica.
Wow. I'm like, what?
It's not easy when you get a lot of hate mail all the time. It's not easy. Right? People don't go in. I don't think people go in to volunteer. You guys know, right? What was it like when you guys suggested a single hauler? Imagine that 24/7.
Hugs and kisses.
The truth be said, Alan and I were almost lynched.
24/7.
Yeah. Mm. Well, and I can't say that's why you get the big bucks. You don't. Well, hang in there.
Are we moving on to the next item now?
Yeah, well, sort of. We're still bypassing the invasive species. Jim knows about it. Jim Majewski knows about it. He's dealing with stuff. He will get in touch with me. So we're moving on to planting trees. All right. Jim, Bray, Sumya, myself, Monica, and Greg met out at Kids Kingdom 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I don't even remember when. Put together a plan to replace some trees, talk about some trees that should come down and then be replaced. Unfortunately, Fernbrook is in the middle of selling plants and then inventorying, so I can't get in touch with them until June, July. So this will be a fall planting. So I can send you guys what we have as a draft, which is all it is, but species are not 100% until I know exactly what they have to provide us. But it looks like that will be our fall planting, but it's going to be something that'll be contracted out. And now I have to deal with someone else to deal with that because Greg's leaving.
Wow.
So we're gonna have to see how that one's gonna work. And then I guess, well, that'll take us to, do we want to do a volunteer fall planting? And I know Jim Bray, and actually I am too, I'm very, we'd like to get at least part of the Mirror Lake Road along Patterson Road, Patterson Farm planted. So what are everyone's thoughts on that idea?
Before that, Linda, I gave you some comments on the draft plan that you had shared for Kids Kingdom. I don't know whether you looked at it. I didn't hear any response from you.
Regarding the oaks?
And something else. It's specifically to do with specific tree species.
Yeah, no, I have it in my notes, but I can't
Okay.
answer that until I talk to them in
Okay,
a couple
as long
months.
as you saw the email and took note of it.
Roughly
Yeah,
how
sorry,
many
I thought I
trees?
responded. Huh?
Roughly
I'm
how
sorry.
many trees at King's Kingdom?
Some
I think it
35
was
or
like
so.
30.
Yeah, I think, Linda, I think it's around 37, and that
Something like that.
includes some understory trees as well as,
That doesn't sound like it goes in the budget.
That's going to be the interesting part. So this was everyone's wish list. We're going to find out what the trees come back at in terms of cost, and then I guess we're going to have to talk about that.
What, don't we have a lot of money in the tree bank? There shouldn't be a budget issue, I would think.
It's totally a budget issue, Alan. That's how things work. So
Well-
if you want to do a bigger planning than what originally was talked about and an amount was approved for, then we may, depending on how much money we're talking about, end up being in, I'm going to use the term an RFP situation. It may not actually mean those initials, but once you go over a certain dollar amount,
Oh, you have to go out for bid.
Yeah.
You're talking
Mhm.
about. Okay.
and since
So
what
is
is
the
that
70
dollar amount, Suzanne? What's the dollar amount?
7,500.
7,500, okay.
So was that total plant and contractor?
I mean, if we had a public works director, right, maybe we can get Parks to dig the holes. Maybe we could, that's one of the things that Kurt and Greg were really good at with the last plantings that we've done, right? Pricing them different ways so that we could get the maximum amount within that range. So I really can't answer until we have a better idea what we're talking about.
Well, how
I mean-
simple is the RFP process or whatever you call it? Because we have a lot of
We
money.
don't have a township manager to handle it right now, so it's very hard.
Could Jim Majewski do it?
Could he do it? Jim can do anything. Does he have too much on his plate as it is? I don't imagine that he'd be putting this on his plate.
But
Well,
we
then
have
we-
7,500. I mean, we can plant 7,500 worth of trees and small trees. I mean, I think if that gets done, that's not a bad thing to do for this year in terms of the contract part.
I mean, we're in a holding pattern anyway, because the vendor needs time to, understand so we can, when we get that information, we can figure out how best to move forward.
Let me see what the trees come back as.
$7,500 I'm sorry, Linda, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just let me see what the cost of the trees come back as. Remember, because it's also a sizing thing. So we don't necessarily need to get all bigger size trees. We can get things that are a little smaller at a cheaper price, or we can reduce the total amount. Like the total amount of the 30, whatever it was, trees was everyone walking around saying, oh, we should put some more here, and we should put some more here, and we should get rid of these and do this. So maybe it ends up being a multi-year planting project. And we do what we can to worry about the bigger concerns first.
Yeah, another way approaching this is that instead of the 37 trees, we could, and again, what Linda said is exactly how it was done. It was kind of a wish list, and I think a very, very good, excellent wish list. But instead of 37, let's say we take it down to 25 trees. The trees that we're talking about between 2 and 3 inch caliper, you're looking at round numbers, maybe $250. So that would well be within the $700 and $7,500 range. My other question is too, that's considered one planting. if we want to do work around Patterson Farm in the fall, let's say instead of the major maples in a row concept, we forestall that for a year. And then over in Patterson, we put in some understory and trees and bushes in appropriate places, to help the stream, filter better over there. So my question is, if you have a planting in a different area, is that treated as a separate item, Suzanne?
Well, are we talking about a volunteer project again now? That would be handled totally different.
Yeah, that would be different.
Well, the volunteer part, but I'm talking the cost for the trees.
Yeah,
how
that would
we-
be
Totally,
That would
totally
still
different.
be totally different.
Separate,
Okay.
separate site,
Okay.
separate project.
Okay.
Yeah, if we are talking about, Patterson and the understory and the shrubbery, that could definitely be a volunteer project. But of course, if we decide to go with the Maple Row category, that would be a whole different issue.
That'd be bigger. I suggest people go over to Patterson Farm where we're thinking about planting the trees. It's parallels Mirror Lake Road and that Buck Creek tributary. Walk along there because there are only a few spots along the tributary where it needs some understory or trees, anything. A lot of it's got the multiflora rose next to it, and we're not going to get into that. That's nasty stuff. So go look at it. There are some spots, and one of the best spots is actually on the other side of the creek where the fields you can see would drain right down into that.
I don't know if we're allowed to plant there.
Huh?
Yeah, don't go walking on the farm.
I
Yeah, I
know,
don't think
yeah,
we're
but you
allowed
can
to.
see it from the other side.
Okay.
Yeah,
Stay on
yeah.
the part of Mirror Lake, that grassy area where the tributary comes through. Right?
Where
The other thing that we should actually be doing is reinstating our non-mow regimen there. They're actually mowing almost right to the grass line or to the tree line where the creek is. And when we had our no-mow regimen in force, basically they were only taking 1 or 2 passes along the whole Mirror Lake Road area. And it looked beautiful. So what we could do is institute that on a partial basis, getting more shrubbery and meadow to grow along the creek tributary. And that would also, I think, cut down on the shrubbery and understory trees that we needed. And then we could consider in the following year, maybe a majestic row of maples along that road. And I believe, Suzanne, you and I talked about this before, about having some significant plantings along Mirror Lake Road. And I think, you were very much, actually, it was your idea to start prioritizing that area.
Yeah, I remember talking to Linda about it and trying to have, when you drive up Mirror Lake, especially in the fall, there's a row of maples by the church and the CVS, and then to McCaffrey's that all have not good enough on maples, like sugar maple. So you have like a yellow and then a red. So could we either continue that same pattern or bring in another type of maple to really make it a beautiful visual interest? But
Well,
Yeah, in talking with the people at Fernbrook, and also based upon some of the texts that I use here at the house, there are quite a few significant maples with incredible fall color that could be used. And some of them, we have one not too far from where we live on the corner. And every time you pass it in the appropriate, the fall season, it just literally knocks you over. The beauty of some of these trees is really, really something to behold. And I could envision like 30 or 40 of them along Mirror Lake Road, which I think would be more than stunning, quite frankly. And these cultivars, very colorful cultivars, it's kind of a tongue twister, are pretty available in the trade. I know Fernbrook had quite a few. They had one especially called October Glory, and I've seen photos of it. And the name is, pertinent when you see the photos.
Well, in the next few weeks, if people could walk that side, it'd take 10 minutes to walk along there and see if you have any ideas on what we should do along that section of Patterson Farm. And then we can talk about it next month.
All right, while we're on tree planting, I had one other item. The other day, I was up at the Memorial Garden, and I placed a couple of stakes in the area where the American linden and where the black oak had died, just to make it easier for, the supposedly spring planting by Fernbrook. I also noticed that unfortunately a white oak has also bit the dust, along with a couple of sweet bay magnolias. And I think it really makes a lot of sense to replace those at the same time.
When is Fernbrook supposed to be?
Yeah, I thought that was all done.
Well, they said, to me, they said late May. Originally, they were trying to do it in April, but he said, no way could that happen. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call them in the next day or two and, see what their plans are. Unfortunately, they're subject to the same problems that a lot of businesses are facing throughout the country, because they're looking for employees. And it's, basically the same old story again. But let me call him, and then I'll get back and talk to you, Linda, and, email the whole group as to what I've been told.
All right. Suzanne, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we can add additional plants at this point without getting it approved.
No, and I also, I don't know what pot of money that comes out of. I don't know if you're in the 9/11 part or, but no.
Yeah. I would say we're going to have to keep track of the additional ones that are dying or dead, and then do this as a next year planting also then.
Well, we could certainly do that, but I think this money comes from Monica's Park and Rec Fund. And
I don't know.
that might be a lot more flexible than coming out of the regular township fund. But, I'm no financial expert, so I'm really not sure. But I was going to plan on conversing with Monica about this as well.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know whose money this is coming out of.
Yeah.
Well, I can talk to Monica. I had planned on calling her tomorrow and find out
Yes,
exactly
she may know.
where the money.
She might be the better person to know what's happening with that. And then if it does, and she can make some revisions and we can add the additional trees, then by all means. But yeah, see what she has to say about it.
I will do that and report back to the EAC.
Okay, Alan, our one land use project.
Yeah, nothing new with that one. They still haven't submitted a revised preliminary plan. So that one's been all quiet. There is a lot on Sandy Run Road. It's on Sandy Run Road where the Brock Creek, where it goes over Brock Creek. So it's like at the other end, where Edgewood is? It's like toward the other end of Sandy Run Road. There apparently was a house there for a while and it got knocked down or something, and they want to build a new house there. Unfortunately, it's right next to Brock Creek. So they need a boatload of variances from the zoning commission, zoning board. So they go before the zoning board on the 16th. So I think it's 16th. So I'll let you know what happens with that. But that's it for land use. It's been a quiet month. Oh, I did have a question. Suzanne, do you know when Prickett's Preserve is going to go for their development agreement? Because I thought it was gonna be a spring, so they're still holding off. All right. Because that's when we'll find out how much money goes into the tree bank from their project. That'd be interesting. All right. Linda, you want me to go to the next topic?
Sure.
Recycling. All right, we're all set for May 21st, 10 a.m. to noon. I've ordered 30 100-gallon clear plastic bags, and I should be able to pick them up tomorrow. I think 30 should be enough, I would hope. I reserved a truck for Monday morning to take the styrofoam from the township building to, I'll probably go to Ray Bob's since they're the closest and they seem interested in it. So that's where we'll go. I'll bring a box for the corks. So everybody bring the corks, wine corks. Kevin, are you gonna have a box for the batteries? I saw Kevin's.
Yes. So they want me to put it in 5-gallon buckets.
Oh, that's
Greg said that the Public Works doesn't have any, so I'm just going to buy some. Looks like they're not expensive. I'm going to order them in bulk. I'm going to buy about 10 of them,
okay. All right,
and then we'll have them.
ready for those. And Sumya, you need a box for your prescription containers because that's not. You bring it because I have boxes too. I'll bring one too.
Plenty of empty boxes.
All right. So I guess we're all ready. Just got to count the days before it happens. And let's see, I'm going to be there. Suzanne and her daughter, Sumya, you were going to be there?
Definitely.
Yeah, we plan to be there unless something like COVID happens, but otherwise I plan to be there.
Okay.
Like right now we are under quarantine because we are a COVID household today. So otherwise we'll come. I'll come.
Okay. Well, by then, it's not for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I think that's prom night, so I think the likelihood of her appearing is growing less and less.
What?
I know,
This
right?
doesn't supersede prom night?
Crazy.
Crazy. All right, so we should have enough people. I don't know if Linda, you're coming or not, but
I was, and now unfortunately I'm out of town. So sorry about that one.
okay, so we'll have at least, maybe Paul, I think, was gonna come, so we'll have at least 5 people. So we're all set.
Don't forget to sign up for the blood donation drive.
Right. There is a blood shortage right now, I've heard, you know. Need it. All right, so that's it with recycling, I believe. So on to number 8.
Sumya, want to give a recap of the lecture?
I can't hear you, Linda.
Sorry, you want to give a recap of the lecture?
Oh, okay. So the lecture went off, I guess, exceeded our expectations. The response was great. I had thought we'll probably get about 20 is what I was thinking. And then I said 20 just to, in case there are surprises, I asked for 40 chairs. We ran out of chairs. We had to sneak into the storage and pull out more chairs. So there was a lot of interest. The speakers were awesome. Awesome. The dedication that they have to native plants in their own houses and how they have enjoyed, you can see how much they enjoy the different flowers. I mean, the visual interest, the birds. One of them is completely into raising caterpillars and moths and monarch butterflies. So their passion came through to the audience. So on the whole, it was very well received. It was like I mean, I thought we would have a cozy group. It was far much more beyond that. Maybe Kevin can give, I mean, I was more in touch with the speakers while they were preparing their presentations. So it was nice to see how they were sharing slides and stuff. So, but maybe Kevin can give an, more objective viewpoint. Kevin was a great help, Kevin and Paul. Paul got in the signs, and Kevin was my right-hand man for everything, all the things that we needed, chairs, the screen wasn't working, so he was there fixing everything for us. So it was great. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome. Yeah, it was very well attended. I was very impressed. And got some ideas and pointers for stuff I want to do in my yard.
And there is a lot of interest in more such lectures. So I was just discussing with Alan the other day that we have to think of more, you don't want to repeat the same thing, but different angles to do with the same activity. So I want to think of more themes and get people. I think we have more than 4 people who are completely into native habitats in our township. So we should be able to pull, I would like to eventually make sure that everybody gets represented. So I have to get to know who they are.
So you're
There was
thinking
some
in the
interest.
fall?
Beg your pardon?
In the fall, maybe have another one?
I don't want to commit to it simply
But
because
think
I'm
about it, yeah.
behind. I'm behind. I have to do a write-up on that. Every bit counts. I have some information. I haven't yet put it together since more than a year. It's gotten outdated, so I need to go back and take fresh. I'm a little behind on my EAC thing, so I don't want to commit to it. But if I will, first I need to do the groundwork to discover the people and see what their common interest could be. And when things get together, I will bring it to the EAC. But in the fall, if Jim wants to plan the spotted lanternfly, we should go ahead because it's all in person is allowed now.
What's bugging our trees?
What's bugging our trees in Pennsylvania? I can get in touch with the woman again and make sure she's okay with that, because I know she had some, I believe, had some COVID issues as well. But I also want to congratulate Sumya and the group that really worked on this. It seemed to me an unqualified success. And I was involved in the EAC lectures for many, many years, and I know how much work is involved. But it's always nice when your hard work pays off. That's the dividend. So again, my congratulations to Sumya and everybody who worked that. Jean and I really wanted to attend, but being infected with COVID, we didn't think that that was a super idea in a room full of 60 people.
Yeah, so Paul counted 53 people, and actually I should thank Jim for he provided some literature for distribution. And we also had the people from the Bucks County Seed Share. They came and set up a little box with seeds of native plants. So that was another giveaway. And Laura Brandt, for those who know, had a sort of a surprise giveaway of wood poppies. She had some extra plants which she had just dug up. So she, I think, made it like a sort of a raffle. She put some sticker under some chairs, and those people got those free plants. So on the whole, it was a nice atmosphere, community event. Like, people were enthusiastic about the whole thing. And one of them apparently was talking to Catherine Beath about involving children with native plants. So she mentioned that to me later on in an email, and apparently they're friends of Connie, and Connie put me in touch with that person. So I don't know what exactly they talked about. So I just reached out to find out what ideas they have in mind. But,
all right.
Thank you, Jim. I hope you got the literature I left by your mailbox.
Yeah, we received it, and I'm glad it was helpful.
I was thinking, Jim, if the woman who was going to do the what's bugging trees in Pennsylvania can't do it, would it be worth, if soon you can find the information and I can help her, doing some sort of rain garden, rain barrel, if they're willing to come in and talk?
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, we can have more than one lecture. I mean, if it doesn't have to be only one. We can have as many lectures as are feasible and worthwhile.
All right. So, if you can find the information and you need help getting in touch with people, just let me know. Because I think that'd be something that would actually go in well with the lecture that you just had.
So you haven't heard me say this in the EAC, right, Linda?
No, this was
Then
probably
that was
before
before
me.
you joined, so it's
Yeah.
been a long time. So I have to dig up my notes to see. I had spoken to one specific person, and he was willing to come, and I had to look up my notes to see. So it's a very nice partnership between three organizations which have been working for several years. I think it's all tied into the Green City Clean Waters program. I'm just blanking out on the organization names and the people I met. I have to look it up. So that means it was way, I mean, if you haven't heard me speak about it, it means
It's at
more than-
least 4 years
Yeah,
old,
5
maybe
years
3.5,
back.
4 years. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let me know if you need help with that. And then hopefully we can try and get something, if not, like end of summer, early fall for that.
Yeah. All I'm saying is it doesn't have to be only one lecture.
Yeah.
in
No,
a
no,
year.
yeah. But if the woman that's going to do the other one is still hesitant, then at least we have something set up.
Okay.
Or would hopefully have something set up. So, okay. All right. I don't.
Earlier in the presentation, I talked about the rain barrel giveaway. I actually gave a presentation on rain barrels about 15 or 20 years ago. The Master Gardener Network has a lot of programs that they offer to the public, and one of them is on rain barrels too. So
they have rain gardens also.
Another opportunity to look into as far as what they're currently offering. And again, as I mentioned, it was very successful. People are very much enamored of programs like this.
All right, sounds like a plan, hopefully. All right. I'm not sure who all went to, I know it was Jean.
Gene and Paul went
Jim
the whole time, and I made
Okay.
a guest appearance for a couple hours.
How was it?
So we handed out literature and reusable grocery bags. Several other groups were doing that. Gene, how many EACs were there? There was Middletown, Newtown.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
I think only those.
Yeah. So it was okay. It was, maybe
I mean,
a couple
I
hundred
could
people.
think didn't we have maybe 20 people sign up?
Oh, yeah, we had a sign-up sheet, which Paul's going to add to our mailing list or email list. So it was a nice day in the park.
Yeah.
So we got about 2 minutes, so we should move along.
All right. Sumi, I don't know if you want to, I know you just did bring up every bit counts. I don't know if there's anything else you want to bring up with that.
No, I'm just behind on
Okay.
it. I have to work on it.
All right. Kevin, any updates?
No. I'm involved in this heat pump working group now for the suburban Philadelphia area. So we've been working on seminars. Haverford Township hosted a seminar on that, just trying to educate consumers and homeowners. So we're trying to focus on the education and outreach.
Anybody have anything else they want to talk about before we get kicked off or this ends?
Yeah, I just have one item. I actually have two medium-size LMT EAC shirts. Should anybody want these? They're unisex. So, but I think my wife takes a medium. It's a little big, but anyway, if anybody wants one of these, just let me know, and we'll take some opportunity. Well, we'll take some means to get them to them.
Right. I was going to mention that the supervisors are going to have 2 special meetings about possible uses of the sewer sale funds. Is that correct, Suzanne?
Yep.
Yep, coming up. And it sounds like you may put it in a trust.
Well,
We don't know yet. Yeah.
I'm only one of 5, but I've been quite vocal that it would be my goal to put at least some of it into some kind of secured thing. Just checking for the dates, May 31st and June 9th.
All right. And we sent a letter to you on that. I guess we don't need to resend it, right?
No, but
Okay.
don't be surprised if we don't always respond. Try not to keep making it look like we just ignore you.
Well, on that one property, that was.
On that one property, when you brought it to our attention, it was already sold and the lawyer had already gotten the building envelope. So I'm not blaming you. I understand no one can drive around looking for properties all the time. But when you brought it to our attention, it was already sold.
All right, we're talking about the lot at Edgewood Road and Sandy Run Road where they're putting
Right,
that
we used
house
to call
in.
it, a name. It used to have a name. The
Timco?
somebody property, right?
Was it Timco?
I think so.
Yeah, Timco.
Yep.
Right. So that's the one that got away.
Well, I mean, it's hypothetically on this call, someone suggested that someone they know might be selling some land at some time. And we said if that's true, they should reach out because, we can't go around knocking on people's doors, finding out if they might be selling land at some time soon. So takes a village.
I'll do it. All right. So,
I think that's it for tonight,
it?
then. That's it.
okay.
All right.
All right, everybody, happy Mother's Day to most of you and to your spouses, and be well.
Okay.
Thank
It's my
you.
birthday in
Okay.
2 days.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy early birthday.
Then the gifts.
And the gifts.
My daughter's birthday tomorrow, so that trumps you.
Oh.
Bye, guys. Have a great night.